very little desk. What do we get? R6.
I don't know. I don't know. What? Yeah. What would our hashtag?
And what are Ace and who's the other guy? Dez. What are Ace and Dez?
Is it Dez? Yeah.
I think so. And then our observers. Do they get one? Eyes in the skies.
Big
oh no,
brother.
it's the Croatian sensation and the
Dutch disappointment.
Dutch disappointment.
It's not my own words. It was his own words. Don't worry.
Is the Dutch? I think the Dutch disappointment's.
He's actually observing this game right now. Yes.
He just got the confirmation there is. It's easy. He gave himself that moniker. We disagree with it. Okay. Hey, we're on Oregon. Hey, we got a Thatcher and a Maverick ban. That is pretty standard.
Yeah, that's a pretty standard indeed. Might see a Valkyrie ban coming out here on the defense. Okay, I was going to say, or a Mira, so now you know there's still two options available. Which one will Vitality side with, or are they going to completely sideline me in my predictions? We'll see. 7 seconds. Counting down.
Mira
Mira or
Or
Valkyrie?
a Goyo. Let's go out there.
Just Goyo? Maybe, actually. VP likes to play a bit of Goyo. Alright, there you have it, the Valk.
It makes sense. I mean, you see I play a lot here, especially when you're sort of on the Dorms hold. You'll throw it out to the windmill or onto the little crux on the corner on small tower you sometimes see, and they just kind of get a bit aggy and kind of play into that and what Oregon can offer. Because for some teams, it does offer a lot of exploration outside the map and exploration on the sort of burgeoning approach of their opponents.
All right. Heading into the first site, we see the Finky coming out on the side of VP. Bit of a creepy smile on Milan as well. He's like, I know exactly what I'm doing. Mozzie being swapped out to a Capcan. Might slow them down just a little bit. As the Blitz is also being brought. Okay, probably a downstairs hold, I would dare to say, in this very first round. Otherwise, the Blitz, you know, not very often to be used in this site. We are indeed downstairs. So, you know, elbow. We've seen it many times before from Kavana as well, I believe. Just to rush down elbow. Use that shield to your advantage. Use that Finka buff as well because it increases, I believe, the ADS speed that you have in that case. You know, it would be great if we would have a recap segment on that.
There's a lot of...
Wink.
There's a lot of possibility that you'll see now. But the thing is, the Blitz doesn't get a huge amount of play. It doesn't get a huge amount of sort of leg stretch. The last time that I think anyone really talks about the Blitz being... played was on an Oregon attack, and as you said, was by Gorgono, and Kavana had a really good hold and a really good sort of play. And here, I guess I'm curious, because Virtus.pro, it's not the first operator that jumps to mind for a Virtus.pro attack. It's not the first thing where I go, if anyone is going to try and run a quick blitz with some Finka behind them, it's going to be Virtus.pro. But at the same time, I'm thinking they might be able to pull this off. And as we see them start to careen their way towards blue, they're going to have to try and do this, and it's all down to Shinka and Cactus to see if they can stop it and slow it. There's the pop of the canister. They're going to try and dig their way through. The shotgun goes low. Cactus finds one. He's creeping and crawling, and Shinka locks off the legs, pulls back, and goes for the canister to buy himself a few seconds. Things have started to fall apart here for Virtus.pro. Pasha cannot get a whiff of that smoke without finding themselves severely injured. You can see them trying to rebuild and restructure on the back of the stairs here. They're going for the pinch and the pull. They need to put the pressure onto one of these sides because Elbow, at this point, you assume it's locked, but it's not. It's Rise tearing his way back round onto the barrels. And, well, they tried to find a slip through onto blue, but all they found was a whirl of hurt. And this round, I think, being saved is down to a pretty good combination of the two SAS defenders.
Yeah, definitely so. I think we're already going to go for a bit of a tactical timeout here. 2 minutes on the clock, and we're going to just sit by and watch as VP have just tried to go for a quick rush. It was just really a lot of Shinka, actually, of course, stopping them with the smoke canister, making sure that not everybody ran through with it. Dropping down the blitz as well by shooting on the feet with that shotgun. So now we just wait. We have 1 minute 40 to talk about stuff because
loads of time.
There's not really happening much right now. Everybody on Vitality is just chilling as well at this very moment in time.
I mean, I guess that's the one benefit to when a rush goes wrong is you have loads of time.
Yes.
To have an informal tech timeout. But having it after the first round...
It's also round one, indeed. There hasn't been much that could have gone wrong. The rush just didn't work out due to lack of information or the lack of opportunity to kill that smoke. Because if he would have died, that would have been for sure.
3 of them.
It's just all stacked up there. You should be aware of that. Oh, the shield falls. But I'm going to stay like it. All right. B-Boo. And that is P4. Just holding the elbow off. Drone will be confirming that. He's like, all right, there's 2 people on top of that one. Probably is going to be one on the door, maybe one on the E-box. Needs to try and challenge them one by one. This is out of flashback to try and bait out a bit of a response, but none of the Vitality players are stinging as of yet. He's going to go for it. It's still both of them on the top of each other there. But that is going to be the first round, and Bibu just using himself flashed right there, just quickly showing what happened in that round.
I mean, it was an attempt at a rush, and they sometimes go wrong. And I think that's one of the things is, as I said, it's not Virtus Pro's MO. It's not what they usually do. It's not how they usually try to dig their way in. Not working, I don't think's the end of the world for them. And it's very early. And to be fair, a rush in anyone's book, if it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. But at the same time, it's that sort of idea of, okay, we've tried this, we've failed, now we've got to see what we can build behind it. They're going to adapt slightly, they're going to drop the blitz, but still generally bring the rest of the same lineup here, apart from, I guess there's the possibility of driving their way now across the top of dorms. They have the double hard breach, but with the limitations put in front of them without the Maverick and the Thatcher, it's not the easiest.
No, it's definitely not going to be easy, and now there's going to be line of sights also opened up all the way to that balcony. That's going to be making it a bit harder as well to try and get control of that game's wall. Shield put up right behind it as well, but Bibu, of course, is quite explosive as it's a Vulcan shield. We'll put fire up to the entire room there if it does explode. The main part, of course, will be to provide lines of sight to try and challenge the top of armor, to try and challenge the bedroom entrance, make sure that none of the attackers have the opportunity to enter from that position. And just force them for a master bedroom as a big window, maybe a white stairs push, or possibly even all the way from the attic.
Now with Vitality, I guess sort of having that first round scratched into their favor, it was, you know, it was that flip of the coin at the beginning. The flashes came through, the distraction, the blinding, and a man slow crawling with a shotgun was able to take out the feed of the blitz that was charging towards them. It could have gone away from them, it didn't. They have that confidence, they have that joy, and they have what is around that's sort of in their pockets now. P4 is under a pressure instantly here. Dropped the drone on T2 and then climbed up to tier 3.
Yeah, so now they should be thinking, all right, he's downstairs. There's no way that he's going to be climbing up all the way to that top floor, so might be playing in the dark here. If VP doesn't drone this out, he's going to have the opportunity to hide for quite a bit of a long time. There comes the rappel in. There should be a free kill. No, that's the Hibana gone. P4 able to pick up Rask there, and Milo now aware that there is indeed going to be a player up on T3 trying to rotate out. Has to be careful that the grenades are not being used against him, but T3 all to play with for him.
I mean, losing the Hibana to that, as you said, it's not expected to be sort of spotted out on tier 2 and then push upwards aggressively. It's a huge risk, and it's been rewarded this time around because Virtus.pro just trusted formalities. They trusted, I guess, expectation, and playing against that is a big part of Siege. Whoops.
He just opened up the rotation, and he destroyed the shield and the ADS and took himself down to about half HP. He's been the double agent here for Virtus.pro, really helping their efforts into this attack.
When I say play against expectation, I don't mean like that.
No, definitely not, but Rise again here on a flank. They're just not droning out these positions. VP losing a second player due to a member that was hidden. Rise able to pick that one up, and well, let's be honest, Vitality really needed that one after the missed nitro of Bibu. That was unfortunately going to be taking a lot of the utility away. As Rise now comes up from the freezer side. He's thinking about potentially going over to the small tower. Could be very impactful there if he jumps out the window, but he saw the cam getting shot, so they are well aware that Pasha is coming.
Yep, Pasha drops that just on that approach. 2 bodies, but they realize they don't massively need to hold it. P4 has the swing, loses the first as Pasha just slips on by, waiting for the moment to strike, and there it comes through. There's 1 more body on double window. 1 is on that rotation split, trying to hold open what was opened by Bibu. They could try and go to Trophy instead and go for a little bit more of a flat push, but with the pressure that's coming underneath, Kajek is in a very tricky situation here. There's 1 close on the right. He knows there's 1 underneath. He assumes that there's a lot of a lockdown, takes the fight, loses it and drops it, and with only 10 seconds left, didn't really have any other option here. Milon, well, he hops on through, but he doesn't get very far, and Vitality find their second, this time a much slower push. Pretty much the same result.
Yeah, much slower indeed, and even though they gave a little bit of the utility and setup away towards Virtus Pro due to the lack of droning, the lack of information, Vitality managed to pick up 2 very crucial kills, and in the end even 3, even though that one was of course a trade. Meeting Hall Kitchen is coming up next, and VP not really changing anything to their lineup. Really struggling with the roam game that they're currently dealing with from Vitality, just dancing around these drones and playing in these bold positions after they have been droned out because they knew the pressure wasn't going to be instantly on, and as a result managed to find themselves in these good positions, able to pick up a flank kill or 2 in these rounds. Question will be, how will that play out now? We are going to the meeting end kitchen, so not the dining. Means that the rear stage will be reinforced. Big tower control is crucial if you want to take that. Might potentially see Attic to be played by the Vitality players. In combination, of course, with players on the back next on either side of split to try and figure out where the push will be coming from. If you would be Destitute now, you would be saying, where is split? Well, that's going to be in between meeting and the lobby. There you have it. Just reinforced off.
Big America flag.
The big American flag, indeed.
It's how you remember it.
That one wasn't on Theme Park, which was, of course, the origination.
That's why Des was confused.
Yeah, that's why he was confused. Didn't see the flag. He's like, I don't know what split is now.
It's an old reference.
it's
but it checks out. Okay, Vertus Pro. It's been a little bit sketchy. Obviously, you threw everything in the first round. It didn't quite work. That's fine. You knew what you were trying. You knew it was a gamble. And gambles famously don't always pay off. Otherwise, wild casinos
would be a gamble.
Yeah, it wouldn't be a gamble. Here, we saw a slower approach, but we saw mistakes. We saw missed drones. We saw Vitality players able to slip through. They got behind the Virtus Pro attack multiple times, multiple different angles. Oregon is quite tricky. For that, it can be threaded by clever roamers. It can become dangerous. Because of that, there are 3 interlocking sort of staircases that all run underneath this sort of... Yeah. It's like a palm and it's 3 fingers that careen up around the sides of the map and sort of lock off each of the corners. You have to have some awareness on that, otherwise, well, Vitality will do what they did.
Vitality now aware that the push is coming in from the master bedroom. Have the opening up into the games. We have the Iruni laser gate, or the Surya laser gate open up as well. Rise and Bibu playing up on the top floor. We still have the opportunity to get the nitros out as well from below. Cactus playing near that rear stage itself. So as long as P4 is actually in his current position and not really being challenged, it's going to be very difficult for Virtus Pro to take control of the top floor. And as I said, he just wanders off. He goes all the way to the small tower. Not quite sure what the issue is there, but we do know that... Oh, no! That was almost a full shot on the back of the head there with a full skeleton key. Pasha just survives, but VP is definitely trying to clear it out now.
Oh, that's not great, is it? Especially when you still got the smoke on the board. You have 2 C4s. The radius on those is going to be so dangerous to that Flores now. The pressure comes down onto Rise. He's just going to hold in for as long as he can. It's either side, either door. They're looking for more of a press. That new flash mechanic's going to make sure that he's firmly flashed. The slow creep and the concern from the other side. WTG does find Bibu on the top of the stairs. Pasha charges in and gets one more. Virtus Pro have their vertical control. They're going to try and quickly open as much of the floor as possible, but... as the response attempts to come from underneath, that's it. They are all loaded up with shotguns. They expected that to fall. They've pulled back, and they're going to make sure they bring the health cartridges with them.
Quick reset of the Kona station there, just to make sure to have a little bit of extra HP quickly, because they are going to be in need of it. Push seems to be coming down towards the kitchen side. P4 in a position where he could go for a potential flank strike. He's looking to dig himself in all the way deep. Gets shot at, but needs to be aware that there could still be a player around. Survives, however, and gets himself back inside of security. With that the kitchen still under control, if he stays alive, that is.
There's one more body. P4 was playing a continually dangerous game there. As soon as all that vertical would sort of fall, and you saw a lot of the Vitality players otherwise fall back, Milon gets one more. The 10 seconds means that they have to try and drive themselves through. Shinka is all that's left, drops the camera. And the drone that went on the approach, but it's a swing from the left and behind as well with the shotgun. Wants to see if they can take it, but they don't have to, because Pasha's there around the side. Virtus Pro, that is what we wanted to see. That was a much more clinical attack.
Yeah.
It still has a couple of worrying blemishes, like putting a skeleton key into the back of the skull of your friend on an approach. It's scrappy.
Yeah.
It's scrappy, but it works.
It doesn't help.
Yeah, it is scrappy and it works. And, you know, and I think it's an important round for them to take at this point, especially when the last round had been, you know, sort of... entirely out of their hands.
You didn't want to lose that one and go 0-3, so it's very important for VP that they picked this one up. Again, a 6-pick too late. They wanted to get off the buck, but failed to do so. One can only wonder now what operator they would have loved to pick up. So going back to that bottom floor. Now, this one was, of course, a rush. We do not know how the actual attack of Virtus Pro will stack up against the defenses of Vitality. The flashed smoke down in elbow, just firing shotgun shells at ankle height, and managed to pick up the blitz as a result, which just completely stopped every single dimension of the push that was supposed to happen on VP's side. And you can see now as well, they haven't picked up the blitz this time. They are with a normal operator lineup. Normal between quotation marks, because everything can work.
Anything can work.
Yeah.
That's like a statement like saying anyone can get into space, technically. Technically. But it doesn't mean it's as easy for everybody.
No, for sure not. Like, not everybody is going to be an astronaut, but, you know, it's
No.
unfortunate.
Unless you're a billionaire.
And I guess, you know, pretty sure your physical conditions still need to be in check as well, but...
Oh, I don't think it matters, unfortunately, for some people. Here, before we get into a Intero and Miloš-esque capitalism conversation, here we find the capital of this engagement is steadily from Virtus Pro's pace. They're trying to drive themselves over the top here. They're making sure they go for a big clear. They have a lot of their pre-plos on this top floor. They want to shepherd all of those loose Vitality players. They suffered from the roam, which I talked about before, and they're going to make sure that it doesn't happen again. As I said, those staircases, they need to have some modicum of control on them, because once you've sort of cleared a bit of space, you can get some solidity. It's not the easiest rotate up. You have to be quite big and bold and brave and brash about it. But Vitality have been that before.
They definitely have been. Drone now, trying to figure out whether or not Rise is still in the back stairs here. Fell back earlier. Wants to get the drone for now, but they are aware that he is currently in this position. Buck opening up a little bit of a vertical angle as well. That will force him back out, because it's going to be very difficult to try and challenge this verticality. And WTG is trying to throw up here, and with 97 seconds on that clock, there needs to be a move on from VP, and that's exactly what they're doing. Dropping the diffuser in the middle of the meeting room, whilst Kerzheka, of course, holding the flank. Doesn't want to die with a diffuser in pocket. As long as someone will pick it up in the end, it's all going to be good.
Now, as they see that they have to quickly C2 a lot of this hard destruction that goes on the top, it's going to be E-Box that gets opened up next, makes Rise position a little bit tougher to play because he suddenly becomes very isolated. He is going for the rotate now rather than waiting until the pressure starts to come across the board. They've sort of handed it over now to Shinka to just sort of keep that control on the backside of the elbow and make sure if something comes through quick, they can give it the same response it deserves. A slip past. Milon isn't quite able to react in time, and Rise has been able to somehow retake the mantle on this. Now creeps towards Harry Potter, but at this point, Milon's actually pulled away.
Yeah, pulled away, going up to the E-Box hatch. It seems like it could be a double or three-man drop on that E-Box hatch. The drones are really trying to figure out whether or not it's safe, where all these players are located. But, you know, gotta be careful with the finger boost right there as WTG jumps in. That's gonna be the first kill to come in. A second kill as well. They had no clue that he dropped.
Yeah, and that was it. Perfectly timed there. The attention was drawn to Milon on the back stairs. Another grenade comes through, but his cactus through the wall recently opened by the skeleton key, straight through the heart. And Milon's the one to blame as he goes for the swing. He's lying down. Just couldn't see him because of the sight. He stills in that time round, though. Finds the pickup on the opposite swing. Shinka suddenly on the back foot. Not much time to work with here. No more canisters either. So has to try and take the fight here as they slip past. Sprays the first, but Pasha locks it off. Virtus Pro. 2 in a row. And those first 2 rounds are definitely a thing of the past.
Yeah, they definitely seem to be a thing of the past now. You know, the first one was a rush. It's always going to be difficult when they go back to the actual site to see if their attack would have held up against the defenses of Vitality. And, I mean, they were struggling for quite a while, but WTG just allowed to jump in, get a double kill from the E-Box there. Really made sure that, well, VP was able to carry themselves throughout that round and pick up an extra win. Laundry Supply, again, to be chosen. It is Vitality that will go for the run-it-back tactic. Famously once tried by Diffuse Kids under Sternab to go from
Are you never going to let them
from
together?
clubhouse to clubhouse.
Never going to let them together?
No, never going to. They were 6-2 up. They were 1 round away from making it into EUL.
Yep.
And then the team kill on the Monty came through. And then they ran it back to Clubhouse, and surprise, Team Secret banned Monty. Who would have thought? I know, I'm not blaming him.
Just to make sure that everyone's aware.
No,
Yeah.
I'm just it's unfortunate events, you know. Just gotta win those. Either way, that was actually the same game that happened. It's tier 2, and we're heading into round number 5. The running back coming down on the same site after they have just been massively dropped on by the E-Box hatch. WTG able to pick up that double kill, really elevated the gameplay of Virtus Pro in that round. Vitality now needs to make sure that such a play does not happen again. They need to lock out any possibility of it happening. As P4 playing close around the corner probably will be droned out soon. We'll try and fall back, going down up to the freezer stairs, taking a bit of damage actually.
Virtus Pro were very quick. They were quick to get an angle and an idea on where they wanted to put the pressure here. Their speed and their pace has definitely started to hit that sort of middle, and it's great to see from the perspective of a Virtus Pro fan, because those first 2 rounds weren't great, and I've already said the first it was a risk, but the second was slow, and that's the biggest killer. For most teams in Siege, especially Virtus Pro, they are such an energetic team when they're on a roll. When they have that energy, when they have that wind, they are terrifying to go up against. And they're such a tough team to control in that respect as well. So the fact that they responded to those early round failures with energy, with pace, and with this coordination that I said on their first round win was sloppy, it's improving. And that is the worry right now for Vitality. They're a team that can step up, but if they don't sooner or later, Virtus Pro might start really building into this game.
Yeah, they might indeed. VP is looking to build some momentum here. They got these 2 rounds in a row. And you're still supposed to win 3 or 4 of your defensive rounds here as Vitality. So if VP managed to pick up the next, maybe the next 2, it's suddenly starting to look really good for them. And well, Vitality, currently in 10th place, will potentially stay there if the game continues to go on like this. It's not really a place they want to be in. Of course, we're fighting to be close to a major spot last stage, and now we're really struggling, of course, with the other teams starting to push up as well. Banshee and the Barricade have been opened up with a single RCE Retiro. Trying to get it into a better spot now. Mew Gemmer will be blocking it from taking out Elbow. They still will take care of the ADS in the doorway there.
That puts Ryze in a really tricky situation, because it just takes one decent grenade now. Milon is holding the angle as well, wanting him to swing rounds, and Ryze is seemingly at least a bit aware of that. Whether they got an audio or a cool, either way, they're not going to swing away from the blue door as of yet. They're going to wait, but look at this. Milon has rotated around as well. They used, I believe, gone 6 there to drop something out on the backside. I'm not entirely sure, but they did it last time as well. The grenade goes deep to the other side of Pillar. This one does not go short, but this time they're able to take the win and take the catch there. Suddenly they spray around. He survives, not for very long, and Virtus Pro, they've screamed their way down onto site. Cactus is all that's left. Now he does have a huge gun on the backside. He's in a slightly better position, but they're still going to see if they can try and stick the diffuser in. They don't have to, though. Milon with the spear locks it off on the side angle, down the long corridor. The yellow pings were there, and so was the gun.
Yeah, the kills coming in there. Important for VP. They are in the lead now. 3 rounds for them, 2 only for Vitality. Kid Storms will be the last site Vitality will go to for now, unless we, of course, do go to overtime. In that case, they are allowed to pick up 1, maybe 2 more extra defensive sites, depending on who chose what. And as you can see in the live ranking now, if this would be the end of the game, then VP would have bumped up to 7th place in this stage, and Vitality, unfortunately, would stick down onto 10th. And I'm quickly checking the overall rankings, because, of course, relegations and the promotion, well, not really promotion, but the EUL finals are going to be coming up as well.
Yeah.
And currently, we have Virtus Pro at 6th place overall with 28 points, and we have Team Vitality in 7th with 27 points. They are 7 points clear Team Secret at this very moment, which is still, of course, going to be 2 games and a little bit that Secret needs to make up for before Vitality would be in relegation zone or danger. But that does mean that they're not completely safe yet, so they do need to pick up some points here.
I think that's the thing, is obviously when you're looking at how the bottom of the board plays out is, although it does feel like Vitality have been a very strong team recently, that in EUL doesn't always ensure everything. That in EUL, especially this sort of time round, is it just takes a few good games for Secret to thread together, which they've been able to do before, and suddenly things are very dicey. It's the same thing that we sort of had with Rogue. It's the same thing that we've had with a lot of teams. And, you know, and I think that's the thing about Vitality stalling out a little bit now, is it's one of those worst times, because if you stall in the middle of a split, it's okay. You've got the next split, you've got time, you've got things to work on. But here, they're watching people steadily catch up on them. Oh, great take there. Great read, the intel coming through for Virtus Pro. They did lose the opening engagement. WTG on that buck is gone. And they were quite a driving force across a lot of some of the parts of map for them.
Yeah, for sure, and that is going to be, well, a big hurt, you would dare to say, but the shield inside the trophy has been taken care of by the RC Retiro. There's still have an RC Retiro left, of course, to try and open up the rotation into game, so it's definitely not over yet for them. Just need to try and get these drones into the right positions as they have a Banshee being taken care of as well. Just allows for a bit of a quicker pace and entry here for Pasha later in the round.
Now they have the pressure onto Shinka, who's inside trophy, trying to hold it a bit aggressively, but Kajek is keeping his drone safe, sort of passing side to side and being like, yep, still there, yep, still there. They open up the longer angle in the rotation behind the safety of the little blue box to make sure that they can start putting pressure down onto Cactus on the back line. Bibu, once again, is trying to get a bit aggressive here behind that Goyo shield, and while as Pasha is the one that wants to attempt to potentially swing onto it, it's a dabble with danger. He's close. C4 is not.
I'm going to use the RC right now, probably through the drone. Oh, no, not even. It's going to be trying to jump directly at it. It's going to be taking care of that shield, so that is going to be games now cleared out as well. There's going to be 80 seconds left as well. VP has to work with, or can work with rather, to try and close out these Vitality players. Rise, still below, has the opportunity to stop this flank. Not anymore. Pasha picks up the kill cleanly, and there's going to be Rise neutralized. It's only the 3 side players left now that need to make sure that this round will be going VP's Vitality's way.
It was, I don't even know if that was entirely driven by intel, if I'm honest. Obviously, it's one of the things that you can only see later on. Either way, punch the window, drop the body. You assume because the punch came first, it wasn't on intel, and that it was just the quick reactions. But it's a little bit of a mispositioning. It's a little bit of comfort from Vitality that's been punished now by Virtus.pro. Vitality still has a crux control of the double window. They have a body on white stairs that might be able to try and apply some pressure there. It's not easy to still try and force that plant in. BB makes it even harder. There's that body on white stairs. Actually found his way back up now, offering some support. The spray comes through from the double window. They're looking to see if they can get one more. Kajeka cannot quite connect. Last time he did the hop in was dropped quite quickly and cleanly, so it's Rask that drives in, and Cactus with the instant response. Milon has found a slip all the way through as the smoke canisters come through. Wants to see if they can catch anybody. 10 seconds left. Shinka gets one. Doesn't find the second, and Vitality find themselves at least an even split on their defense.
Yeah, the even split is here, and that is going to be the, well, not concerned, but at least they're going to be happy about that one. They would have preferred to be 4-2 at this point in time, but it's going to be 3-3 instead. Them going over to the attack themselves. The Vitality members, that is. Now the Russians will take over the defensive duties. And we'll go to kids and dorms first. We again see the Finker to come out. P4 will take the responsibility of the adrenaline surges and the timing to come in, because, you know, you got to make sure that you're not doing it in the middle of a gunfight, because that could lose your teammate the gunfight instead of helping them win it.
9th and 10th is where they would find themselves settled.
Yeah.
If it ended as it would, it's impossible for it to end as a draw anymore. But it's probably not impossible for them to end 9th and 10th.
No, that's definitely still possible. Actually,
maybe.
It's difficult. Nah,
because Heroic's on 2.
Yeah, so if VP picks up a single point, then Vitality picks up 2, then we have 4 teams on 2 points.
Wow.
So, you know, we will be heading into a 4-way tie for last place.
That's a disappointing way of putting it. Can we rephrase that? It's a 4-way tie for 7th place.
It's indeed going to be a 4-way tie for the 7th place. But yeah, it could happen. I'm not sure who would be ending 9 for 10th in that case, in that scenario. Either way,
we still have Secret to play as well.
We still have Secret to play as well, indeed. And they could be picking up some points here today if they are feeling strong. They've been on an okay pace last 2 play days. Picking up 2 points, of course, not as much as they would have loved to have, but it's more than so.
Now, as the Finker in the hands of B4 tries to find its way via showers to see if they can get the lead in. Pasha has a bit of support on the shoulder, but it's still a very dangerous fight to take. Milon finds out above through the double window. You assume it's the pressure that's coming from just on the side of the small tower. Hop out was a very quick control of small tower. They knew what they wanted to get a handle on, and here looks like they're trying to angle their way around onto the back. Nobody is home though. Oh, Milon is dropped just behind the bunks. WTG goes for the pickup, is able to connect it.
Not quite sure if this angle just shows now. It just didn't show, so WTG safely did that. Needs to be careful though, because there seems to be a bit of pressure downstairs, down at the bottom of white. P4 trying to just spread through the flooring there as Pasha is taking himself into a gunfight. And Rise will win that one out, so Vitality get the entry here.
Gives him that vertical, gives him the ability to use those grenades up towards the top. Milon again, he's so injured and would suffer a lot more permanently if another connects now as he's trying his best to hold off the double window approach. The Gemini is going to hop through and quickly reveal at least that there's still some of the hold on. Milon is dug in on the top of the white stairs, but again, it's just been this very good steady clear from Vitality underneath. They knew what they needed to get a handle on. Rask is that loose threat. He's that sort of potential last stand that could come in from underneath, and he's waiting for the right moment to try and strike. But look at the hold that they still have. They had the drones in kitchen as well. They're pretty fervently watching Zulu, so if Rask takes this as the option, well, it's Rise, and then it's P4 immediately after.
Yeah, the timing needs to be perfect for him to strike onto the white stairs because the pushers are really going to be coming down from this big window. Grenades will be jumping in, forcing Kurjeka to fall off a bit, but Rask is now thinking, all right, this is my time to shine. There's 50 seconds on the clock. I'm going to be trying to strike here and strike hard, but it gets spotted out. Rice gets the kill. Rask will drop, and it's a 3-on-5 situation. Vitality into a very big lead here. If WTG managed to find one, Milon finds a second.
Yeah, Milon is still being a problem, even with his low health. He's keeping the pressure on the top of white stairs. They can't quite get the clean entrance, but they've been able to slip on by to at least the other side. The flash comes out, doesn't quite connect. It's Kurjeka on the back line that gets one. Another flash almost caught and catches Shinka, who's exceptionally low, rotates round and pre-fires with Bibu. Getting the other there, they realized they had to sort of just throw themselves at the site and were rewarded, but Virtus.pro almost held out there.
They almost held out indeed. They managed to bring it back to equal numbers, but after that the flashbang came through, the kills came in as well. And Vitality, you know, they started it off strong and they managed to finish it strong as well. Just the mid-round, a little bit weak there, you could dare to say, a mid-execute. Laundry Supply is going to be the next side. VP, they want to equalize this now. You do not want to let Vitality get away with this. Mirror will be picked up, 6th picked. Away from the alibi, no prismas, but still a high fire rate gun and a vector. Will be aiding Pasha, hopefully, to guide VP to another round.
I have a question about
Go ahead.
this, which I saw done, and I feel like I might know the answer, but I would prefer to have it because I've not seen it before, was we saw, when Vitality were defending it on blue, perfectly isolated, the blue tarp that leads towards elbow, shotgunned all of the right-hand side of it off. Is that just for visibility?
I
think it was Shinka.
Visibility. I wouldn't think there's another reason for it.
That's what I was thinking. He literally just walked along and shotgunned all of the right-hand side of that blue tarp.
I don't know what you would see better, because I would think...
If WTG does it as well, then there's a conspiracy.
I would say black on blue shows better than black on grey. So I'm not quite sure what the reasoning behind it would be.
Maybe.
Also, I had no clue you were able to do that, so...
Yeah, well, it's what drew my attention to it.
I was going to say, is he going to do it? No.
If he did it, I would be like, is this something that I've missed every single time?
I didn't do it now.
No.
Do have 2 vectors on the team, though. It's quite a scary foresight here, as mirror windows as well to support. This is such a basic one. Like, if you've ever played Siege, when Mirror came out...
Yeah. Like, the fact that it was a hold on Old Oregon...
Yeah, and it's now made its way over to here as well. Back then, you could actually challenge the hatch. It's a bit more difficult now, but the entire laundry side is just locked off by that one singular mirror window. And since actually the rework, we've seen a lot more B takes to come through. Of course, due to elbow being a bit more viable as well. But, you know, just a single fact that a mirror window there is just going to lock off the entire side. And what can you do about it? Oh, absolutely nothing, except for trying to get a grenade in. It's still going to be making it very difficult to go for that laundry side take.
Pre-fires their way across and getting the control that they need. They're not wasting their time. They're not messing around. They're making sure that everything is a quick process because they know the fight is going to be down on the site itself. You have Goyo in the hands of Virtus.pro, a team that, as I said, it could be an out there ban, but I guess it wasn't played there because Vitality played Goyo as well on the top floor hold. And, you know, it's not always the biggest detriment to teams, but they are a team that is very good with their positioning, with their holds and their plays around it, and those are ones that they've driven here. But cutting open E-box, pushing Milon all the way out of the tower stairs down towards the pillar and forcing them into a bit of a trickier hold here is the next step as we start to see an approach now from blue.
Now, meeting real high traffic area there. You see everybody running by it. They're trying to get some Excaros in to open up that wall, but they do not really have any control. It's just going to be wasted Xcaris to come through here. Trying to go for another set. Get shut off as well. Grenade will be taking care of the Syria laser gate, but not quite sure. No Xcaris left, so they're not going to be able to open up. Not that it matters much, because Milan not really playing on that angle, but it could be another drop that we see happening from Vitality here in the E-box. Just to try and do what Virtus.pro did themselves.
Well, now Rise is going to see if he can get that just on the inside of Pillar, combined with a flash grenade, but it's caught by the ADS, locked off. Now it's a double swing. So they find themselves a little bit stuck on each other's fire line and firefight here. Milan tries to duck it out. Kajeka's taken a stance to offer a little bit more support as they just smoke out E-box. They make sure that the same way that they punished Vitality, the way that they went for the drop on E-box at the same time cannot happen. And they're limiting Vitality's approach here, forcing them into a much more uncomfortable situation. More flashes. That one does catch, though they have the cover. Bibu just takes the fight on the drop, sprays through. Suddenly everything's lighting up orange, but it's Pasha and Rask that battle back for 2 apiece, holding down the long corridor to the best of their ability with the rotation coming around from the backside of E-box, trying to see if they can split their push. They cannot get that through the Aruni gate. Tragedy has struck, but it's the swing, it's the pop round planting on the other side. The fight is too low, and Bibu drives Vitality the first and the last kill of the round.
Very well played by them there, and I'm not quite sure, but we might have had a adrenaline surge to come in, because I'm not sure if you saw the HP of the Hibala just quickly dwindling back with the last smoke canister up there. We're going to have a quick, little quick timeout here. Virtus.pro deciding it's time to talk. Taking a minute here. Of course, had it after their failed rush as well. Didn't really use the tactical timeout, but took them themselves with the 2 minutes they had left in that case. Now it's going to be the coach that has the opportunity to talk. And the rest of the team quite quiet, so to say.
I think they're just looking at a way to stop them for another 20 seconds, because last 2 rounds, both of them have been Vitality are pushed against the wall. They've done a lot of structural work, and that you can't deny, but you have to look at how the takes actually ended up, which was when they were holding dorms, it was forcing their way in and just jumping and challenging the fight on white stairs and double window at the same time, and winning those 2 engagements, which are 50-50 engagements. If anything, they might slightly go against you at that point. And then there it was 20 seconds. We've just got to try and drop E-box and push at the same time. And it, again, came through for them. You know, it's something that they're sort of building behind, fine, but it's nothing that you can systematically rely on. And Virtus.pro's conversation is, how do we push them another 20 seconds to make that worse?
I like how we went from the 20-second meta to how can we get another 20 seconds because we don't have enough. Like, you know, we've been heading that way. So the game got a lot quicker, but still, sometimes we do find teams out of time. Either way, it is going to be kids in the dorms hall that we will go to. First time that we see the Finka being 6 picked out. The Twitch will be coming in as Rask was debating whether or not to go for the Aruni or not instead of the Mirror. Twitch will be a good counter to the Mirror, which unfortunately will not be there. So we'll have to hunt ADSs, maybe mute gemmers. Because, okay, so the thing previously was you were never going to be able to, with a Twitch drone, get rid of a mute gemmer because you just weren't able to get close enough.
No.
Now you can because it has a limited range. You can. So, you know, a whole lot of opportunities open up here. Of course, if you place them around the corner like they're currently at the doors, it's going to be still practically impossible to try and get it, especially from the side you're approaching it. But yeah, it's a fun little change. Something to keep in mind.
Something to keep in mind. Now, also, Virtus.pro, they've taken their time. They've taken their team talk. They've taken a moment to see if, again, they can extend and pressure Vitality just for a little bit more, because they're close. Close, unfortunately, hasn't netted them 2 rounds in a row, and one more puts them on the bad end of a map point. So they've got to see if they can try and stem that bleeding before it becomes a much more dangerous bleed. P4, hey, he's not wasting time.
It's definitely not wasting time as we had a Prisma being shot out there. Spots a player, unfortunately, though, not going to be able to get the shots down. Missed opportunity there, could have gone, I believe that was, let me just quickly check, either Milan or Kajeka. Here's Milan, indeed, putting up that shield. Could have been a free kill, and that would have been detrimental as well, because then suddenly that whole bunk side would have been gone out of control.
Yeah, that was almost absolutely monumental. Didn't have anything to just drive through the Aruna gate. Obviously, just the audio thing there would give some of it away. They're opening themselves up the rotation, giving themselves a bit of an alternate angle. P4 is out of there, and he's going to see if he can start actually working with those drones now. Cactus He wants to see if he can dig his way through. There is the drone. It's trying to avoid the mute jammers, which are just to its right-hand side. And obviously, it's left as well. Finds one. Doesn't quite find the ADS on the burn, but hey, there's another drone just for that purpose.
Now, the reason that they open up the reinforcement there is just so you can rotate around towards the armory side without having to travel through the high traffic areas of the map, because that would be a guarantee to get someone killed in the long run there. Of course, you only need one of your exothermics to open up the wall eventually, so the second one was to spare, as right now P4 trying to figure himself out if he can find an angle onto one of these players on the side of VP, whereas the rest of Vitality, 2 men, Bibu and Shinka, opening up onto the attic, so a bit of a pinch push will be coming down as one of the grenades just got eaten up by an ADS.
Yeah, Pasha has a little bit to work with here. They still have a mute jammer on that wall. They're going to try and pop over potentially. Another bit of utility. They still have a smoke in the pocket of P4, and I think that they pulled out for a second and then pulled it back in. They've got the discussion, and they have Cactus not too far away as well. It's that sort of setup of what do we burn to try and get rid of Pasha, to try and get a bit of control here. There's still a mute jammer. There's still more danger. Destroying.
It's shooting out, and honestly, I'm not sure why. It could be a little bit of...
Yeah.
It's just a pixel as well, so there's no way that it has some other use there.
I don't know what's going on.
It is going to be used. The mute jammer gets taken care of. The ADS is gone as well, but I don't think there's any grenades left. Oh, Rice still has one available, so if he manages to lob it over, might be able to get the kill. And you see that Pasha is really worrying about this.
Yeah, he knows that his time is limited. He knows that they're a team that's going to burn the utility. The flash comes through. You expect that irritating tinkle of that frag grenade bouncing off of the cement either side, but it's actually the spray round from P4. Dug themselves in, get themselves in a plant spot. The opening underneath means it's dangerous, so Bibu is going to just push through. Shinka gets one more. Rask is going to try and swing their way up round on the back stairs. The spray comes through,
he gets
finds
through!
the diffuser. 4 seconds left. They're going to pick it up and try and scramble. Pulls away. Rask doesn't quite get the clutch, but so close to a play of the week.
If he would have just waited there for just half a second more, he could have potentially gotten it, or maybe even 2 seconds. But of course, they were well aware that the defuse was already going down. There was not much time left in Vitality. Well, they put themselves into match point now. That's the first point inside. And they're trying to go for the full 3. And after a wonderful push into the attic, they just managed to take control of the entrance of it. None of the Virtus Pro members had a clue that they were coming in from that side. The flashbang, of course, was able to mask a little bit of the sound as well. And the push came through. And Vitality now had 3 rounds to try and lock it off. And where I said before, VP is starting to come back into it. 3-3 is a pretty good split for them. Vitality now suddenly are like, you know what, we just needed those 3 rounds because we're up to match point now. We still have 3 more rounds to play for. And VP, while they slowly start to fall apart here, the attacks of Vitality, especially the last 20 seconds of them, are just too strong for VP to deal with. And yes, they have opportunities. There's just too much redundancy on the side of Vitality, and they're close enough to stop any defuse from bleeding out.
Although that last one was a 20-second attack, I think it's got a different flavor to it than their first 2.
Yeah.
I think the first 2, I mean, it was 2 versus 2s. It was very different engagements generally, or it was sort of a 5 versus 2, but we hadn't, or 5 versus 5, but we hadn't got control of anything. This was, they'd done a lot of their street work. This was like old school Vitality. This was like, you know, however long ago when they would do those sort of setups and execute, it was driven by gun skill, but it was a different way of doing it where they had all that set up, they had the control, it was very paced well. It was still almost punished in a sort of monumental way, but still, Vertus Pro, unfortunately, they've slipped behind the pace of Vitality here, and they're going to try and step up into it. Kajeka gets the opener, sprays through against P4, has realized Vitality's going for very quick entrances these past couple rounds.
Yeah, so Rask was very close in getting that one as well. Cactus will go down by Rask, who decided to take a little bit of a trip to the outside with his bullets. Just didn't actually set foot outside himself. Either way, 2 minutes left on the clock. Diffuser has been dropped. Will be recovered by Shinka. We're finding ourselves in a 3-on-5 situation. It's going to be a very tough and difficult quest here for Vitality to try and climb back into this round. It's not impossible. There's 2 minutes on the clock. There's plenty of time to try and catch off any mistakes that VP make. As they're waiting for it, it seems like they might be going to... Oh, there is one around the corner! They have no clue! How did that call not come through? The trade will be there, but that wasn't necessary. That could have been a 4-on-3 situation here, and suddenly the round would have been opened up again. Skrzeka picks up another kill, goes quite low himself. Goes down, but eventually the round will go to VP. That's going to be at least one of the 3 that they managed to find back into their, hopefully, journey to overtime.
The way that Milan went past the doors the same second that Bibu went the other way, it was almost like when someone goes to take a free kick and they have a couple of people that run over the ball at first, but it was 2 different teams and they didn't realize that at first, and suddenly they swing around.
Whose free kick is it anyway?
Yeah, it's like they're trying to throw the team off, but they're on different teams, so it doesn't quite work. Quick to get the trade, but Milan being able to turn that into a kill there, I mean, it was... Yeah, that was a split second either way, and it would have been a very different engagement, or it wouldn't have been an engagement.
The round was already pretty difficult, or different at its start. B4 dying early on inside a classroom, being hunted down by 2 of the VB members. Cactus then being swung on the outside. So, you know, the attack was basically fell apart already before it even started. But yeah, there could have always been the opportunity to get back into it for Vitality there. Fact being, is they still have 2 opportunities here to claim those 3 points. I don't think they care whether they do it with a 7-4 or a 7-5. As long as they do get these 3 points, that's all that will matter to them in the end. You do not want to go to OT now and potentially lose out on them. Luckily, no more draws. Both these teams will like that. Except if you're on the losing side of it, I think, in the overtime.
No, I don't think anybody likes those instances. So, Vertus Pro, you decided to meet them with fire and not let them into the building. Are you going to do the same this time? This, most notably, we saw Bibu's drone is inside shower. They're well aware. Pasha's there, and Rise kind of punctuates that with a grenade. It was a drone. It was a pre-place. It was in the corner, in the drone hole that leads behind the buckets immediately outside.
What is this? 3 members of VB are trying to retake that position. They're trying to hold on to the small tower. That's another grenade to come in. P4 gets the 2nd kill. Surely they're going to be falling back now. Surely they're not going to send another man down into... Well, they actually are. WTG is just taking up that spot now. Trying to go aggressive.
It's like, surely they don't have any more grenades. It's just... I mean, it was all droned out. It was all easy kills. It was easy pickups. That's it. Now that player is isolated in a dangerous spot. They're progressively droning WTG. Milan at least meets Rise and sprays them down. But we've only had a minute go through the game. Milan is exceptionally injured. They found themselves only really taking out the sledge, who at this point had used, you know, a grenade to drop it. There's one more, though. Milan is able to strike another blow into the side, and the Habana is a much more powerful removal. It severely limits the way that they can go for the approach here. They've also not got the Twitch this time round as well, who is a big drive into getting themselves into the site and putting the pressure there. They are going for a different take, but still, with what was 2 early rewards, this really has to be something that Vitality can try and lock off now.
Yeah, for sure. Another grenade will be used. P4 using his last. He's not going to be able to find Milan, but well aware of the positioning that Vitality would like to take. White Stairs will be under attack soon. Vitality will want to take that. Milan holding it, of course. WTG as well from inside the games. Still have 2 grenades available to them. Bibu should really put these to use. Just a single drone could be so big in terms of information. You saw it at the start. Another grenade will be cooked. That should be finding Milan there. Just 5 HP is all they need to find. It's going to be tossed in. He's going to be getting the down, not the kill. So that means it could be secured. And as the 2nd grenade is being cooked, is it going to be tossed in the same direction? No, that goes to WTG. As Gojeka takes a bit of damage there, but gets the pickup.
They are able to get the pickup, saved a bit by the shield, and obviously they, I guess, went for the hope that they were a little bit further forward. It's always impossible to predict the run through there if the Gemini is trying to get as much information as possible, but it's Milan yet again who strikes, finds Cactus a triple. He's down, but he's proving that he's not out now. P4 is trying to find their way up, and again, if I talk about their sort of just throwing themselves at the site, this is turning into, yet again, another one of those Vitality takes. This time, they're going from exactly the same places as the previous time, but Virtus Pro, they're not in the same one. A quad for Milan. He's on for the ace. He doesn't quite find it. P4 has one more kill to find. He gets it! P4 drives it home, and Vitality secure the points.
They weren't allowed to, okay, I'm going to say, they were allowed to win it at the first minute because they got the 2 grenade kills in their Vitality. But afterwards, Milan able to pick up a quad kill whilst down on 5 HP. Basically, the entire round on, even got down in the process because the grenade was not close enough. And for that to just